Hello guys, and welcome to Paint with Mark. I thought today we'd do a really simple but effective picture that doesn't use too many colours and just a few brushes. So get your tools together guys and follow along. I'm going to run along the colours that we're going to use in today, and also I'm going to show you the brushes. So basically all I'm going to be using today is the 2-inch brush, the 1-inch brush. I may use a fan brush but probably not. A script liner brush, and a little 1/2-inch flat brush. And I've also got a little tiny mixing knife. I might mix a little bit of the colour. I've got a pot of liquid white and a little bucket of odourless thinner with a metal gauze at the bottom to wipe excess paint off. I've also got my palette, and on my palette the colours we're going to be using today are titanium white, midnight black, phthalo blue, bright orange, cadmium yellow, sap green and dark sienna. Okay, that's on my palette. We may use all those, we may not, I'm not sure. So you probably saw the picture at the beginning of the video. So basically got some hills. Nice easy picture that even if you're a beginner you can really do this. It's very simple. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm just going to pencil in just a few guidelines. Alright, it doesn't really matter too much for now, but I'm just going to get a few guidelines, just a normal pencil. So I'm going to come down about 3/4 of the canvas, and this canvas today is a 16 by 12, so 12 by 16 canvas. It's a triple primed pre-stretched canvas, quite a cheapish one, nothing too special. So I'm going to come down about 3/4 about there, and I'm just going to roughly draw a line, just a wiggly line. Hopefully you can see that on the video, but if not, don't worry, it's just a line going across. I know I've got another sort of line coming across here, another line there, another one up there, and there's another line going up there, something like that, just to sort of give you a guide. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines going across, and that's all we really need to do, just to sort of give us a guide of where we got our colours. So next part, have a sip of tea, and away we go. So I'm going to apply liquid white as follows. I'm just going to dip the brush just a little bit in the top of the bristles, and I'm just going to, just here and there, just sort of dab it a few places, and then hardly down the bottom there. Don't need a lot. I'm doing little crisscross strokes overlapping each other, pressing it into the canvas, and all I'm trying to do is just force this into the canvas itself. I'll come down over a line slightly, they may be covered, but again I'm not too fussed too much. Then when I've done that, I'm just going to literally just force it, turn it at the side and just scrub this into the grain. Literally scrub it into the grain. Then I'm going to go left and right, pushing quite hard, and up and down. Again, you don't need very much on this particular picture. We don't need very much of this liquid white. I'll look down the side, and if I can see any dull spots, I know it needs a little bit more, but I think I'll do this. We don't need too much. So we're going to go straight into our orange. Now what I want to do is just want to add a little bit of white to this orange. So I'm going to pull the orange down, get the brush, pull it one way, pull it the other way. I'm going to put it down here somewhere on my palette. Then I'm going to go into a bit of white and add that to it. So it's just a little bit dulled down, just a little bit. And if it's too much, you go back into there and add a bit more. Okay, I'm going to come up to the canvas, and I'm going to randomly put in some of this orange. Now, I tend to do, I usually put a little crisscross step there, then I'll put a little bit down here, maybe up in this corner, I'll do a little line maybe coming across here. Just really doing little crisscross strokes. A little bit up, more up here. A little bit there. And then over the top of this line, I want this really to be prominent. So I'm going to add a bit more of the neat orange. And I'm just going to literally go sideways along this line and bring it up just a little bit. So it's really bright, and let it fade out to the side here. And as it fades out, it mixes in with the liquid white and gets a bit lighter. And that's literally all I'm going to do. That's enough. Then I'm actually just going to wipe my brush in a bit of kitchen towel paper. I'm just going to wiggle this around, squeeze the bristles, just to get rid of the excess paint. That's all we're trying to do, just to get rid of this excess paint. Then I'm going to go into the phthalo blue and black. Now I want it more sort of on the darker side. So what I tend to do is pull down some black, pull it one way and the other way, and pull down a bit of this phthalo blue, one way and the other way. Okay, so black, blue, and then I'm going to get a little bit of white. Pull some of this white. I'm going to put that in it as well. So basically we've got sort of like I'm pulling them all across here together. So we've got a greyy, bluey, blacky colour. So hopefully you see there. So I pulled down the black, a bit of phthalo blue, and then some white. I'm just mixed it all together, so we've got a sort of grey, bluey, black colour. And then I'm going to place this colour in the gaps that we've got. And again, I'm just going to literally hold the brush sideways on, and I'm just going to literally, for the moment, fill in the gaps where I haven't got any colour. Literally like so. That's it. Then I'm just going to wipe my brush again. With a towel, bit of kitchen towel, bring it around, put my brush down. I'm going to get my 2-inch brush, and I'm literally going to do crisscross strokes. So I'm going to start from the top, I'm going to go over the colour, and literally doing crisscross strokes, very lightly, over the whole lot. And this is blending the colours all together. Keep going across, and then when I come down to this orange at the bottom, I'll brush it sideways on, like so, and then I'll go hold the brush this way and go across the whole lot. Just have a look what we've got. So it's blended down now, so we've still got these nice bits of orange in here and the blues. Obviously, if it's not enough at that point, if you want it, you know, a bit brighter with the oranges, you can go back in and you can add some orange. And like what I tend to do is just I don't need it, but I will put it in just so you can see. I just use a little fan brush. I'll go back into the colour where the orange is. I'll just dust a little bit of this colour back in there. If you want the orange to stand out a bit more, which I'm going to just do for your benefit here. And then go back with your brush again. And just go back over it and just blend it back again. There we go, I'll just take this down here, it doesn't matter. So hopefully just the sky is all done. It's what, just this bright orangey colour. That's all we're looking for. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put some dark in there now. So what we'll do now is we're going to go into some, I've done our sky as much as we want to do a sky. It's nice and bright. Again, I want to add a bit more of this colour down here. I'll just put this in with a fan brush, but we don't need to worry too much. So I'm going to get my little 1/2 inch brush. I'm going to pull this down into the blue, pull it one way and the other way, and into the black, pull it one way and the other way. Then I'm going to go into some white and add that down there. Hopefully you can see that. So it's a sort of lighty bluey black colour. I'm going to come up and then work out where our first line was. So coming from the side, it's about there, something like that. I'm going to come across, and literally I'm just going to do a little line going right across. Little wiggly line like that. It's nice. And what I'm going to do is, on the line itself, I'm just going to touch the bristles and just lift it just very, very slightly, just to diffuse it a little bit. Okay, so I'm just literally just touching this. The bristles are just touching that. So it's not a very, very sharp line. It's just got a few little bits sticking out, which will give the indication of some foliage in the distance. And it will just dull this a little bit. Like so, just along the line like that. I'm going to come down a little bit more using the same colour. So I'm just going to take this into about that sort of area. So I do need paint to paint, so I just load the paint on. Literally I'm just brushing this in. You're going to get light parts, dark parts, which is good, which is going to add to the actual character of the picture. Dark parts here. Okay, so that's our first colour, the blue. We've just sort of touched it going up, and then we're going to put our next part in here, which we want slightly darker colour coming in along here. So we're going to use the same colour, but we're just going to add more blue and black. So this colour here, get a bit more blue, and a little bit more black. Add it into a little bit of the white, just so it's slightly darker. And then I'm going to put some more hills here coming in. I'm going to overlap these, so I'm going to go into slightly this area, but hopefully you can see from the colour that I've just made it slightly darker, which gives it another plane. It looks like there's another bit of area going on behind this. Literally I'm just brushing, getting my brush, and I'm just brushing it sideways on for the moment, just sideways on. And I'm not keeping it straight, I'm wiggling it, I'm keeping it across at an angle, but I'm sort of going up and down with a brush. Up and down. Just filling this in. Not too worried about the bottoms, because we're going to fill in more at the bottoms. So I'm happy with that. Okay. Okay, now the next bit we're going to do is we're just going to wipe my 1/2 inch brush between some tissue, and then I'm just going to go into some neat black. So this time I'm just going to go straight into the neat black, pull it one way and pull it the other way. And with a chiselled edge, I'm just going to run all the way along this line here. So along the bottom of this line, I'm just going to run a very thin black line along here, making sure it's quite a chiselled edge. I don't want it too wide at this point. And the same with this, I'm just going to touch and lift just a little bit upwards, just to diffuse it a little bit. I don't want it too distinctive. Literally I'm just sort of touching with the canvas along the line. Okay, that's all I need to do. I'll wipe my brush again. Squeeze that. Then down here we're going to add some green. So what we're going to do, we're going to use, I've got some sap green. So we're going to go into some sap green. And just a little bit of touch of black. A little touch of blue. Just to sort of darken it down a little bit. I'm going to come along here, I'm just going to fill this part in here. So basically this is going to come all the way along over to there, that sort of area, right across this area here. So I go back into my colour, just sort of got a guideline there where we're going over to this side. And literally I'll start from the bottom and work up, because I'll be careful, I don't want to take the dark into it as yet. So I'm going to work from the bottom and then go up. So literally I'm just holding it sideways on, coming up close to the line and then stopping for the time being. Come close to the line, backwards and forwards until it fills in. Just these little like 1/2 inch brushes, flat brushes are really good for detail, it's detail work. Now I'm coming up to the line, I'm just careful. Now it doesn't matter if you pull a little bit of this colour in there, but try and pull it all one way. So I'm just going to pull it down, and a little bit of this colour, we just pull down with it this way. I'm pulling it down that way, from the right to the left. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow on top of the green part there. I don't want too much. I don't want too much light in the area there. So that pulls down to this part here. Just going to take this down a little bit lower, like so. Across there. Like that. And then I'm going to wipe this brush again. Squeeze it in the tissue. And then I'm going to go into some black again, some neat black. So pull the black one side, the other side, just neat black. And then I'm going to do another line, another thin line. This is another thin line. So, okay, so now I'm going to do a thin line underneath this green. Same thing again, just holding this sideways on. Don't push too hard, but you get a nice sort of chiselled edge along here. Just trying to create all these different levels and planes going on in the distance, so it creates lots of distance, is what we're looking for. And again, I'm just going to pull up again, very lightly, like so. Like so. And then water brush again. Squeeze it between the tissue. And then we're going to come down into some more green here. I'm going to use the same colour, but I'm just going to just a touch of white. So into the same colour, I'm just going to get a little bit of white, just a touch, hardly anything at all. So I'm just going to pull this across again. Yeah. Just fill this in. Coming up to the black line. Just being careful. Okay, what I'm doing, this is just sap green a little bit of blue, a little bit of black. Just take it down to roughly this sort of line here. And it doesn't matter if you pull a little bit of dark through it and a little bit of light, because you get these different colours. You get these lights and darks, they're all going to add to your picture. Okay, so I've got down to there, and then I'm going to go, I'm not going to clean the brush this time, I'm just going to go straight into some black, just neat black. This time I'm going to do a slightly thicker line, just by pushing a bit harder. So I'm just going to come along here, like this, go back on itself, load up again, just filling it in. So as before, he's doing it quite thin with the black line. This time I'm going to do it slightly wider. For those of you asking, yeah, this is oil paint I'm doing. Some will have a question, you know, is it acrylic paints, oils? This is oils. Okay, so we've got a nice thick line there, and again I'm just going to literally just pull this up very slightly. When I say pull it, I'm just bending the tips with the brush, just so it becomes a little bit uneven, here. And then once we've done that, I am actually going to hold my brush sideways on so it's point, and create just a few little bushes in the distance. So literally I'm just going to tap and add a little bit of sort of foliagey things in the distance here, just on the very top of this line. Just basically I'm just touching, so it's a little bit higher in places like this. You can't really see it because this is distance and a long way away. Okay, so I'm going to wipe my brush again. Now down the bottom here, this time we're going to use the sap green, bit of blue, and we're going to get some cadmium yellow. I'll put that in there as well. So cad yellow, bit of blue, and just to change it up a little bit, and just a little bit of white, just a touch. See what we get. Yep, just want to change the tone slightly. So I'm just going to fill all this in now. And remember, you know, if you've got liquid white on here, which we've put on, it will mix with the liquid white and make it slightly lighter. So you know, if you put too much liquid white on, it will become much lighter. But I won't put too much on here, so it's not so bad. Go back into my colour, and all I'm doing, I'm just filling this in, literally just filling this in. Going up to the black line, being careful. And I'm pulling all the lines, I'm pulling them all from right to left this time. Because the hills were going down that way, and now this hill's going down this way, and it will create illusion. It looks like grass banks all running this way. So I may pull out a little bit of yellow, and I'll just run a bit of that colour underneath this cadmium yellow. I'll pull that into it as well, and I'll just run that down into it. Okay, I'm being careful when I get to the top of these